Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to OnFest 2013's coverage of League of Legends tournament on KLCV. Each of these teams looking to take a split of the €5,000 prize pool. We have, almost perfect. Kalu is OP and Dark Passage. I am Pulse and I'm joined by Metas.
Hey, Pulse viewers, how is it going? We did have a lobby before, but unfortunately my client decided to, I very nearly actually just said a horrible word there. It decided to do something in the bed, let's just say that, and it did not want to work for me. So, unfortunately, we had to have the remake. As you can see, the picks and bans have come through thick and fast, Pulse. Lots of information to take in here, but instantly my attention is over to Kalu OP. Lots of initiation, lots of AoE.
Yeah, I wanted to call them COP before because that's what I saw, and But yeah, Kalu is OP. We saw both of these teams being very dominant in the last two games, looking very, very strong indeed. So we'll see how they face up against each other. Of course, Dark Passage are one of the best teams in their respective region, and Kalu's OP has shown that they're very, very strong, getting that early advantage of snowballing from there. And one of the banned champions has been Teemo, but we had to rehost the lobby because Metas had some issues getting into the game.
Yep.
And because we are on the tournament client, both of these teams will be actually able to see the game, so there's no need for a delay, and we'll be right into the action.
Yep, absolutely. Just jumping straight into the loading screen here. Not something that we often cast, actually, Pulse. Normally at this stage we're off for a break until the delay has came and gone, but regardless, Dark Passage, I would definitely say, are one of the favourites to take this entire tournament, Pulse. It's not something we've actually spoke about up until now, but I honestly feel that, their fans would definitely agree. They've got such a large fan base coming into this, as you just see in chat there, exploding with the DP, the Dark Passage, and everything about the Turkish guys. But, I think that honestly they're going to be top 3, and I wouldn't be too surprised if they win the entire tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see if Kalu's OP can pull something out of the bag, show that they can stop the juggernauts that are currently Dark Passage. So taking a look at some of these team compositions at the moment, Metas. So very hard engaged composition once again from Kalu's OP, something we saw in the first game. Nocturne into the Malphite along with Orianna, two strong ball carriers, but the Malphite Orianna is kind of going back to basics. That's originally where it all started before we saw the emergence of Zac, the ball delivery system. So also with Ashe, long-range initiation, they have such good initiation potential because sometimes you'll see, okay, they've got Orianna, they've got Malphite, there's your initiation. Or they'll have Nocturne and Ashe, there's your initiation, but they have both of them here.
They do, and in level 6, that is a very threatening bot lane. That's of course assuming that the duo lane does go bot, but as you say, you've got the enchanted crystal arrow coming in here for Sina, and then on top of that, Kalu is going to be jumping in with a paranoia. They had a marvellous game in the first matchup that we actually casted today, Pulse, on Lee Sin, so if this game is anything to go by with that one, then it could actually go very, very strong early on. They snowballed an early advantage, crushing past test your limits in the first round of today's proceedings. So I'm really interested here. I'm really intrigued, Pulse, to see how this game's going to play off. I feel these two are fairly evenly matched.
Yeah, definitely. We'll kind of see the emergence in the early game of who will probably become the victor, because while Kalu's OP have a very strong team fight, the early game snowballing potential from Dark Passage is unbelievably good. Fizz is there, also Vi, my favourite champion, and Fabulous on Lissandra. So if they have a very strong early game, actually find themselves Froth in the jungle, should be taking him down with the last auto attack, Orianna will be picking up first blood, and that's the best possible start from Kalu's OP.
Yeah, definitely, and Orianna is not a champion you want to get first blooded on, because it's going to be quite scary, and already gone back to spawn right now with that first blood gold. Is going to be getting a Doran's ring on top of the crystalline flask and the health potions, so that's going to be quite a nasty one for the Fizz to play off against in mid lane. What I would say though, composition wise, we're talking about lots of engage, lots of AoE CC on the table here from Kalu OP. What I will say, lots of threat, lots of different champions coming out with lots of damage here on Dark Passage. Pretty much everybody putting in a fair chunk of damage, including Holy Thoth's Zyra. It is one of those supports, Pulse, that puts out quite a lot of damage without needing to build a lot of AP.
Yeah, I get the feeling that teamfights are going to be very explosive. In the top lane, Malphite, very difficult to push him out. Probably easier as someone like Lissandra, who has that long-range poke in the early game, should have the upper hand, and we might see some kills going down top. In the mid lane, though, we have Dark Passage actually swapping up their bot lane into their mid lane, and trying to shut down Orianna, who picked up the first blood. This is probably a very smart move.
Oh, it definitely is, and it's very quick reactions here from Dark Passage as well. Like, okay, that was a bit of a bummer to start off with, but let's make sure that Inixi, you know, we saw in the first match that we actually casted on Kalu OP, did a really, really good job in mid. So let's make sure we don't let him snowball out of control and get to a point where his shockwaves are going to absolutely decimate our entire team. However, this is going to leave Naru in a 1 versus 2 situation. How does Fizz normally do in these situations, Pulse? Because it's not something we see a great deal of.
Not very well. Not compared to someone like Gragas, not compared to someone like Vladimir, who are comparably very good in 1 versus 2s. Just paying attention to top lane as Nocturne, Kalu with that double buff, looking for a potential gank onto Lissandra. But Fizz, not very good in that bot lane. He is approaching into the top. Fabulous going to have to pull something spectacular to get out of this one. He has the claw coming down. Will teleport out of there. Follow up from Kalu. Flash comes out. Don't choose to go completely under tower, but the flash is down and it has forced Lissandra out of lane.
Yeah, nice little play from Fab there, but as you say, the important bot and the successful gank still came about because that flash has been burnt off and Glacial Path has a fairly high cooldown. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, level 1, 23.76 seconds. So if he uses that to clear wards or maybe be aggressive, definitely watch out for Kalu going to that top lane when the flash is on cooldown to try and make some plays. Inixi has just been caught from the grasping roots, taking a pull to a Peacemaker as well, and this mid tower is falling fairly low. Pause comes in from Shim, so I'm not too sure what's going on here.
Key bindings problems because
yes.
Yeah, obviously these players are playing on different machines because they're on stage right now at the live event of OnFest, so they'll be playing with whatever the last person was on the computer had, and that can be very distracting, especially if someone uses Smartcast or has moved you know, like Q onto a different key or something. That could massively troll you in the heat of the moment.
Oh, it definitely could. You could end up flashing without meaning to,
yeah.
Which is never a good thing. But judging from the players that did actually pause that one out, it was Zaka on Malphite saying, and still got his flash and his teleport up, so I would have to assume it's going to be A-okay. But better safe than sorry, Pulse. You don't want to lose your lane because of something stupid like that.
Absolutely, and while we have a couple of seconds of downtime, I am doing a giveaway over at facebook.com/watchyourpulse, which is my fan page for Facebook, so you want to get over there for RP. It is open to the entire of Europe, so you want to go ahead, like that post, and you will be in contention to win some RP. In the bot lane, we have Riosta just sitting in the tower, just trying to help Naru in the first couple of levels, because that's all he really needs.
Yeah, again, it's the same as that first game that we casted between Test Your Limits and Kalu OP, where they had the Fizz and they're saying, okay, well, even if Fizz does by and large get choked out early game, as soon as he's got the Lich Bane, as soon as he's got his Oni's Hourglass, or that kind of item build in effect, is going to be able to start chunking players down very quickly, especially when you look at some of the squishier members on the side right now of Kalu OP, so the likes of Fiddlesticks, Ashe and Orianna. They will go down very quick once Fiddlesticks gets into his rhythm, but Fizz, I should say, gets into his rhythm. But right now, Riosta is trying to do his best to get him into that situation, and Naru is obliging accordingly. So just going to be getting this farm at bot lane, and then probably transitioning for Riosta into maybe the mid lane.
I think one of the best things right now for Kalu's OP is that they've kind of stopped the massive presence from Vi really becoming an issue, because they've forced the lane swap up by Inxi getting the first blood, and then Vi can't go everywhere and make sure the lanes go really well for the team of Dark Passage. So that's going to hurt them kind of at least in the early game, and maybe it will have a lasting effect when we get into mid and late game as well. Kalu has kind of had the luxury of sitting back and farming, so he'll hit level 6 and then be able to go for those paranoia ganks, and that's perfect, especially when you have a Fiddle Ashe lane. It's almost a guaranteed kill, because you're not going to be able to get out of the Fiddlestick Sphere, Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and then Paranoia on top of that. You're essentially going to die instantly. Then in the mid lane, you have the ball delivery system, so when we hit level 6, I'm expecting to see many, kill attempts come out from Kalu.
Yeah, definitely. There are going to be a lot of attempts right now for some serious murder on the battlefield, but it's that Key word again, it's the execution is in mid lane. Unspeakable Horror goes off. Kalu is focusing on Holy Phoenix. Here comes an Ixie from the side as well, but they're turning this one back round. Ignite goes down. That's going to be a kill with the Piltover Peacemaker. Really misplaying that one, Kalu. I would expect that they overestimated the amount of damage that they'd be doing, and now Fab is coming around from the top. Glacial Path comes through. They are looking for this kill. Frozen Tomb goes down, and we'll be finishing that one off nicely with the Ice Shard.
Yeah, I feel most of that was mistiming the spell shield. He was expecting the Grasping Roots to come out immediately, and then when Fruff saw that and he wasn't already in the cast animation, he just waited until it went down and then locked him up afterwards. And that really hurt him because the Ignite came out first, so he wasn't actually losing any downtime by not using spells onto Kalu. That was one of the main factors as to why that trade went badly in the mid lane.
It's also a beautiful grasping route as well, like just hitting both those players, Paul, so I don't think they're expecting it to land that exquisitely, but regardless, that is going to be the 2-1 lead in terms of kills right now, and the tower as well for Dark Passage. And we saw in that first game that we were casting on that you give them a lead and they will start to snowball very quickly. Give them an inch and they'll take a mile, so Dark Passage already starting off in a very confident form.
Yeah, Kalu's OP really need to start collapsing onto lanes. They have their ultimates, they have the teleports. Malphite has actually already used his, but they have the use of Paranoia. They have the Shockwave as well. And then in the bot lane, Enchanted Crystal Arrow. In fact, only level 5 at the moment. Must be close to 6. In fact, halfway through. So they need to start utilizing their composition because they can't afford to fall behind, especially in a best of one as well, because Dark Passage will just get this game and then it'll be good to go. They're out of the group stages.
Really interesting build right now from Lysandra from Fab. So going for the bling again. This is something we've seen Bimbo 8 do in EOS Challenger Series with 3 Doran's Rings and then a Negatron Cloak. So really building up for that, you know, to mitigate as much magic damage as possible. A lot of that can be down because Zika does actually have 22 ability power, then Orianna on top of that's going to be doing quite a bit, and Fiddlesticks as well. But regardless, definitely one to watch out for at this top lane.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, very early Negatron Cloak is not necessarily a bad thing, but usually you get it if like your lane opponent is specifically AP and you really want to try and negate that. In the bot lane, we've got the Paranoia coming in, lands straight onto Holy Phoenix. Meanwhile, Sana is trading off against Froth, jumping into the bush. Kalu not going to make the same mistake twice, especially with Naru now coming in. The fish doesn't quite land, but lands into the trap. Naru, the overtime damage from Seastone Trident picks up the kill.
Yeah, and at the same time, they were just doing this split global kind of presence. At top lane, they also picked up a kill. Onto Zeka now at top. At bottom, I should say, Ashe going back in. And that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade with Holy Thoth coming out on top at the end, taking down the AD carry. So that's going to convert itself into a 6-2 kill lead in favour of Dark Passage. 1 tower to 0, make that 2 as Fab has just pushed down his top tower as well. So they are definitely starting to take that gold lead. Already about a 4k gold lead at just 9.5 minutes through the game.
It's like you said, Metas, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And after literally, I think, a minute, it completely turned the game from being very even, in fact, the first blood, and then having to react around Kalu's OP with the first blood onto Inxie. They're now 4 kills ahead, and the 2 towers ahead, and now they can start roaming, they can start to pick up the pace, increase the pressure, and this is something that Kalu's OP is going to find very difficult to deal with. They have great global presence in the form of the teleport and Paranoia, as well as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and this is kind of where you would expect them to be in their element, but they're not far ahead enough to kind of make it work, so they're going to have to play this exceptionally. They're going to have to be 1 step ahead of Dark Passage.
Yeah, it's that execution we were talking about, and we said before that at 6 they will be looking for these engages, but they simply haven't had enough opportunities. This claustrophobic, very much a close tense action that Dark Passage is enforcing onto Kalu OP, is not allowing them to utilize their kind of composition to its fullest extent, and now they're actually going for the dragon on top of a ward. So if ever there was a time for Kalu OP to try and make a play, it's right here, right now. But Orianna seemingly happy enough just to farm mid and nobody putting any moves on. Piltover Peacemaker comes through there, does land on Ashe, but we'll just kind of keep her very much on her toes there behind the tower. Quite interested actually that nobody from Kalu OP tried to steal that dragon or force a fight with Malphite at top lane.
Yeah, Kalu OP don't want to give them a team fight, essentially, because if they lose a team fight at this stage, it could be a potentially crippling blow into the late game. Voltbreaker comes out straight into the Assault and Battery. Lockup with Stronger Thorns comes in. This will surely be the second kill onto Fiddlesticks. All they need to do is juggle the aggro from the turret. Teleport now coming in from Malphite. Not sure if it's enough, though, but Paranoia is off cooldown. And they don't, in fact, go for it. No, Nefizz is also heading down, but that's another 2 kills.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, that they don't want to throw away a team fight needlessly and maybe go 3 or 4 kills down, but the problem is that they must know they're already falling quite far behind on gold. And if you allow this to happen, you're just effectively playing yourself out the game. At some point you have to stamp your foot down and say enough is enough, let's try and make big plays. Go big or go home is that kind of mentality that you need to bring to the table. It's all well and good that Kalu are playing passive and they're playing kind of defensive and safe, but when you're already 5-6k gold behind at 12 minutes, that's where you have to make big plays. You simply have to, you're going to lose the game slowly and painfully.
I couldn't agree more. You can't afford to play it dark passively, because they just if they don't have the strength in the late or even like later mid game, then they just won't be able to go for team fights at all. So they'll gradually be pushed in. And Dark Passage, if they do eventually go for team fights, then Kalu's OP are just going to lose it anyway. So unless they make plays now, it's either speak now or forever hold your peace.
Exactly, it's do or die, it's sink or swim. And there is no place right now for passive play. I mean, I understand if they want to turtle in, but in doing so, they're going to end up losing another tower or 2. Here comes the Paranoia, though. They are going to be going in with this blue buff invade, but they are going to lose Fizz. Now going back on, here's the Crow Storm. Nice little Ring of Frosto from Fab. They are going to pick up the double kill, and they are looking for that triple right about now. So maybe this is the kind of play they were looking for, a kind of hubris to be the downfall of Dark Passage, that they'd get over arrogant, overconfident and make a bit of a mistake and just jump on top of that. So, yeah, for all we've been talking about making big plays, if the enemy makes mistakes and you capitalise, that's just as good.
Yeah, and they do have a very good mistake capitalizing team. They have a lot of pick potential. They have great mobility in the bot lane, though. Ace in the hole comes across. In fact, Froth will pick it up with the plant coming into fruition in the mid lane. Strong push coming in from Kalu. Fabulous trying his best to kind of mitigate this, but his wave clear is exceptionally strong.
I'm very, very surprised that Saino was there for that long, honestly, at bot lane. The tower was going to fall. It was very, very fragile, very weak. Must have known the tower dive was just around the corner. So being in that position for me was really, really strange. Then got caught by grasping roots into Stranglethorns, and that was just all she wrote. It's just a free kill. So even though they did manage to pick up a double kill about 3 seconds previous, not really going to do a great deal. Here comes the Assault Battery after the flash from Kalu and the Frozen Tomb as well. Fizz is going to jump in for good measure, and that's going to be another pick. Actually, Chum the Water's going down. Maybe thinking about a rinse and repeat mode here. Ignite's been popped as well. Playful Tricks in, forcing the flash away from Orianna. And actually, Naru's gone way too deep right now. Has been terrified away. And Ash will be taking down that kill. In the meantime, actually, Lissandra picked up from Zeka as the Unstoppable Force was burnt.
Yeah, Malphite came in, and Chanter Crystal Arrow comes across, lands onto Vi. Can they catch up in time? A couple seconds have come down, Vaultbreaker comes out, and that's one of the reasons why Vi is very strong in the early game, and in fact maxing the Vaultbreaker first, which is something that people are kind of coming to the conclusion that you're supposed to be doing, so not able to catch that one. But as you said, overzealous. They're going a bit too deep. They saw the Chum the Waters come across and land onto Inkstein. It's like, okay, we can probably finish him off before we can do anything else and just back out because we're highly mobile. But Kalu's OP. Mobility is absolutely king.
But even when they're making mistakes though, Pulse, they're making them behind enemy lines, behind towers, and that's not allowing a Kalu OP to pick up any kind of objectives off the back of them. So even though they're making mistakes, they're doing so in a hyper-aggressive manner. And this is the main difference between these two teams. Dark Passage is a really aggressive, in-your-face unit. They're going to push as one, and they're going to smash through your middle towers, your top towers, whatever the case may be. Whereas Kalu OP, they're playing this very passive. Yes, they're getting a couple picks here. Yes, they're getting a couple picks there, but overall, have a look at the global impact it's having. There are a ton of wards in their jungle right now. Holy Thoth is planting these down like they're candy, and there's just no vision control at all for Kalu OP. What's that going to actually convert into? Well, it's going to convert into picks for Dark Passage. As soon as Fiddlestick starts to move around, the edge is going to get picked off. As soon as Nocturne does it, same story. very difficult right now for Kalu OP, and I've got to say they've kind of played themselves in this position by being too passive.
Yeah, they're kind of just like frothing at the mouth at the moment, and there's very little recourse from Kalu is OP to really do anything at this stage. And now we have Dark Passage just moving around the side, and the defensive wards are kind of keeping him in the game, but staying in the game is not enough to win it. Now, Zeka coming in, and Chanter Crystal Arrow comes across, Duke comes in from Holy Phoenix, but still, the ball carrier of Zeka, if they can get into a team fight, if they can lead in with their initiation, it might be enough to win the fight.
Yeah, well, Zeka has just been out of position, and actually the Unstoppable Force just landing on Fab is a player that can just basically go invulnerable with the Frozen Tomb, puts it on Zeka, who's one of the tankiest members in the entire server. He's just going to be falling in a heartbeat, and already, in the blink of an eye, 2 players go down, highly influential players at that. This tower is very low. Here comes the Void Train, the Pain Train, and the Assault and Battery, or the Police Brutality as it's been called recently after the changes. But regardless, that is going to be 4 players for 0 at the end of the day. That's a tower, could very well convert into 2. However, the creep wave has just subsided, so they're not going to pick it up just yet. But as I was saying before, Pulse, I would have loved Kalu OP to play more aggressive earlier, because that's the only way they would have won this game.
It feels like Dark Passage have dealt the fatal blow right now to Kalu's OP. 10k ahead at 17 minutes. It's not even 20 minutes into the game. 5 towers down. And all they need to do is group up for another team fight and they'll win. And it's not like they'll ever split up again. They don't need to. So there's no real potential for picks unless they overextend, unless they make the mistake. And Dark Passage have no reason to do so. So Kalu is OP. Their composition doesn't work because they can't pick 5 people.
Exactly, especially when an Unstoppable Force goes in and just lands on Lissandra. I mean, they must have been laughing their backsides off there, you know, thinking, great, okay, you've used your Unstoppable Force, that means you're not going to get the wombo combo anymore, and you've just hit Lissandra in the air, who's pretty beefy right now, and is just going to kind of laugh that one off and walk away. Again, the arrow comes down, it is a miss. I'm not sure if that was maybe assuming that Naru had gone into the Tribush area, but he definitely hadn't, and he will be managing to escape. So the point here is that they're burning big initiation ultimates for nothing, for naught. They're not landing, or they're just landing on one person, which simply isn't enough. And we're talking about this combination, we're talking about the execution required for Kalu OP to kind of win this game. And I've got to say, it's just backfired in every single way.
Yeah, you could see what they were shooting for. They were looking for like a strong laning phase in the form of the global ultimate, and then when they get to team fights, they can just burst them down and hopefully have enough damage in their initial combo of like the Unstoppable Force into Shockwave, and then the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and then Fiddlesticks ultimate. That's exactly what they were looking for, but they don't have enough damage behind it now to really make that composition work out.
No, they certainly don't, but the question is, are Kalu OP going to be able to turtle in for long enough to start to become that kind of well-oiled machine that they require to be? And I have to think the answer is probably a no. Unstoppable Force comes in, hits 3 players this time, much better, but Ash stands on top of a trap. Look at this damage actually, doing quite a bit. Shockwave comes in on top of the Crowstorm. They are staggering these ultimates very, very well, and they are being rewarded with 3 quick-fire kills for Kalu OP. That's about as good as an engage as they're going to get. And we've kind of not necessarily slated, but we've questioned a couple of the Zika ultimates. That one that time, Pulse, was right on the money. Now, being said though, Naru in the meantime has been pushing this inhib tower, which only now has 123 hit points remaining.
One of their predicaments, though, is they can go for great initiates, they can pick off 3 people, but then they'll have someone splitting off, picking up a turret, or in this case bringing it very low. And overall, yes, they bought themselves some time, but in the grand scheme of things, that was 900 gold, maybe a little bit more because of assists, and they've almost lost an inhibitor turret. Definitely not worth it.
It's very, very true, honestly. It's a good point to make that, you know, it's easy to get carried away and say, okay, they got 3 kills, but what did they really get from that? It's a drop in the ocean. They're still 10,000 on the nose behind right now in gold at 20.5 minutes through. They haven't picked up a single tower. It's 5-0 on towers, and soon to be 6-0, because as I said, 123 hit points remaining on that inhib bottom tower. So even when they do pick up kills, and this is something I alluded to previously, they pick up a few kills, but they're not getting anything from it. They're not getting a reward in terms of towers, in terms of drakes, in terms of barons, and therefore they're still going to be slowly losing this game.
Yeah, it progressively gets harder, and you need to pick up more kills. You need to make a bigger dent in the armor to actually make something come home. So they essentially at this stage need like a 5-0 or like a 4-0, and then transition to a Baron. That would allow them to come back into the game, but it's a very steep hill they're climbing, and in the bot lane, Nairo has been revealed by that ward. It could collapse on Fizz, but then top tower also falls, so it's risking the chance at a kill for a tower that's definitely going to go down.
And this, in a nutshell, is why you play a very slippery character like Fizz with teleport, because he is going to split push all day, all night. It looks like KOP have had enough right now. Teleport coming in with the paranoia. Here comes the Ash Arrow, and that is easily going to be dodged out. I would have preferred that to be on conjunction with one another. So Ash Arrow into paranoia. Paranoiaing first puts Nocturne way in the distance in front of his team, and they're not able to really jump on top of one another and make big plays as you saw previously. Fizz is going to take down the bottom tower, so Naru's doing work again with this split pushing tactic and puts down some damage on the inhibitor. So even when they do engage in these 4 versus 5s, look at who they're against. Hypermobile champions. Lissandra's Glacial Path going to be just fine. Vault Breaker from Vi just going to be fine. Playful Tricks are going to be fine. Nothing they can do. Free Baron, that's pretty much the GG.
Yeah, not only that, Nocturne cannot stick to people unless he's got something there originally. Now, Phoenix finds himself Inksy. Kalu is there, but he's bleeding out from the red buff and will be dropping. So this has just gone from bad to worse. Picked up the Baron, picked up the main damage potential in the start of the fight. So for the next 30 seconds, they're completely crippled. And if they go for a fight, they're going to win it. Chum the Waters comes out. Naru potentially gets picked up. He drops. Stranglethorns comes in. That's a 1-for-1 trade. And if they do go too aggressive, then they're just even the playing field.
Yeah, Naru went way too aggressive there. Could kind of understand, again, trying to maybe buy some time for the rest of his team. But again, it's easy to say, oh, you know, they got the kill on Fizz, maybe they can bounce back from this. Well, no, they can't, because the creep wave is constantly pushing them down. They have no foothold outside of their base at all. Again, the ward coverage is just prime positioning right now from Dark Passage. They can push where they want, when they want, and that's going to be 7 for 0. 7 towers unanswered. Here comes the Ash Arrow again. If it lands on Caitlyn, should be potentially a kill. Seismic Shard goes down. Here comes Zika from the side. In fact, never mind that. Unstoppable Force has already been used, and it is on cooldown, so there's me thinking it was a cast iron kill. Not going to be the case. Here comes Nara from the side, however, has been terrified out. It's going to be fear into fear. All the terror for Nara right now, but will be Zhonya's hourglassing out of this one. Can he get away from this predicament? Looks unlikely. He will be going down. Crowstorm, but at one cost though, because Kalu is very, very low. Double kill coming in from the meanwhile from Lissandra, looking for that triple kill. Onto Nocturne. Can she pick this one up? Doesn't look likely, as he's actually going to back away. And now being forced down from Zika. Ring of Frost comes out there. Caitlyn's picked up a kill. Beautiful Zhonya's hourglass. That's going to give the rest of Dark Passage a chance to jump back into contention and take down the ace. 5-for-1 trade.
That was a very messy fight, with Naru fizzling out at the start of the fight, but then a 5-for-1 trade, you can't really argue with that. Top tower will surely fall, and now is the time to make a really serious blow, to take down an inhibitor, potentially 2, and again, it's just increasing the angle at which they have to climb the hill, and it doesn't look like it's very likely. Stranglethorns comes down. I guess he thought Fabulous was going to go all in, but they didn't really need to, they just needed to siege the turret.
Yeah, indeed. So, again, Fab has been having a great tournament thus far. It was great in the first game that we casted from Dark Passage, and that Lissandra play getting a double kill, but also keeping both Nocturne and Zeka away from that fight as well was just perfect. It allowed Caitlyn a free team fight to just unleash hell with this Trinity Force and also Infinity Edge. So interesting build coming out from Holy Phoenix here. That is going to be a free dragon. There is absolutely nothing that Kalu OP can do about this one. And I just feel they're kind of circling the drain at this point, Pulse. I mean, it's just a matter of time before they get flushed.
Very nice analogy, but I completely agree, and it's very apt in this situation. It doesn't look good for them. They do have a potential answer, in the sense that if they do land all their ultimates and they land them on the right people and the entire Dark Passage team is clumped up, then they could still win. But that would be Dark Passage. I don't know why they would do that. I don't know why they would clump into a small ball and just say, hey guys, land all your ultimates on us and see if you can win. But even at this stage, I'm not sure that would actually work. With the temporary invulnerability from Naru and Fabulous, they might take out like maybe Riosta, but he's probably too tanky anyway. So if they did go all in with their standard like combo, then I'm not sure that would be enough. Middle inhibitor falling, and the rest of the inhibitors are opened up. Naru on the bot side could see another team fight opening up.
Ace in the hole comes through, and I agree with you. Even if, you know, they got that perfect engage, you got 2s on his hourglasses and a frozen tomb, so Lissandra can effectively have 2s on his hourglasses there. Glacial path in, that is going to be 2 out of the 3 inhibs falling. Third one is vulnerable at the top lane, and they are going to be rotating. And if this inhib goes down, it's pretty much game, set, and match. 3 sets of super minions chasing down your Nexus towers. Not a great deal you can do about that one. So Kalu OP are going to have to go big or go home. This is their last chance saloon right now. Fab's going straight in with the frozen tomb. Has us on his hourglass afterwards as well. Shockwave comes about here as well. And it's going to be Fizz picking up the first kill. Orianna does reply. Zeka's desperate to run away there. Will be going down for the double kill. Next question is, how many kills can Fizz pick up here? It's going to be 2 thus far, 3 in total for his team. 1 for 3 trade. Third inhibitor falling, and that is going to be the good game. Whether it's now or in a few seconds time is yet to be seen. Unspeakable Horror goes off on Holy Phoenix. We'll be cleansing out of that one courtesy of the cleanse there, and should be just fine.
The fab chants going in chat.
Yeah.
Honestly, we haven't casted Dark Passage enough to kind of know the lingo, but I'm assuming that's kind of like the TSM chant. But as you said, another killing blow has been dealt, and they're just running on fumes at the moment. They can kind of sit here, they can try their best to play turret defense, but it's only a matter of time before Dark Passage decide to just barrel down mid and finish the deal.
Well, you can see why he has so many fans, because his aggressive nature of play, of getting up into the grill of that opposition with characters like Lissandra, is just so good. Last game it was Vladimir, so similar kind of idea. I'm going to Hemo Plague you, then Sanguine Pool and Troll and kill your entire team, or at least do enough damage that there's nothing you can do in reply. So Dark Passage playing safe here, playing smart as well. Going to allow the super minions to do most of the work, go back, get some more items, and come back even stronger and end this game.
Yeah, they're not going to play it like, okay, we'll give you 5 minutes to farm the minions and potentially get stronger. We'll just make sure we get all the buffs, we'll be efficient about it, get down the warding coverage so there's no answer and you can't stop us from taking Baron if that becomes the case. But now they just don't need to go for the throw zone. They just need to, just as I said, barrel down mid, go for a team fight. Even under the double Nexus turrets, I really can't see them losing.
Is it even possible for Dark Passage to throw this game now? I feel that maybe if all of them disconnected for 10 minutes, then maybe. But I can't see any play occurring here where they're not going to win.
Everything's possible if you believe, Metas.
Well, speaking of which, Ace the Hole goes down, so clearly Holy Phoenix is believing this is going to be the last team fight. Shockwave goes about, not too bad, but it's onto the support character. That's going to leave the rest of the team alive and kicking to wreak havoc. Again, the Fab machine is running right rampant into the opposition team. Caitlyn's going to be picking up one, picking up another kill actually, and also the glacial path comes through. Naru is being hyper aggressive right now, seemingly like they're more interested in kills than finishing the game, but the super minions are going to do that for them. So again, Dark Passage come out ahead, and they will move through to the single elimination.
Oh, definitely living up to their name, and I guess their namesake fresh as well, with the death sentence, what they're doing to every single team we've seen so far in this tournament. Metas, I don't see any team stopping them just as of yet. Of course, this is Group A. We're now transitioning to Group B after the short break that we take, and we will see if any teams could potentially stand up to the juggernauts that are Dark Passage. But that is it. Well, that's everything from me until later on, because I am taking a break, and then it will be Metas and Spuddington after that. So I guess it's social media time.
It is. If you'd like to follow the stream, then by all means please do so. Bottom left of your screen right now. It's not just this LAN that we do, ladies and gents, it's also the EUS Challenger Series, which the next one should be coming up fairly soon. So definitely get liking it. And how about yourself though, Paul? So you said before that you were having a giveaway of RP cards. Where can these fine ladies and gents find you?
Well, I'm on Twitter @ImpulseBall, and the giveaway is on my Facebook, facebook.com/watchyourpulse. It will be in the upper left-hand corner of your screens on the stream, with all the social media revolving, as well as Messrs' social media @MessrsTV. So if you want to get involved on those giveaways, just go over there, like the post, share it, and you'll be in contention to win. I will be doing the giveaway, or announcing the giveaway winner, at the end of today. So that's it from me, at least for a little while, and it should be Messrs and Spuddington when we get back. We'll see you shortly.